All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking about real music and another sad day, doubly sad day in the world of popular music, classic rock, R&B, as we lose two very talented individuals. First one is Robert John. Anyone remember Robert John, 1979, Sad Eyes? I recently just, well, for whatever reason, posted that song like a week ago or maybe 2 weeks ago on Patreon. By the way, if you'd like to become a patron, please sign up. I could use a few patrons. So Robert John was 79 years old, and his hit, which some people say he's a one-hit wonder, that isn't necessarily true. But his song "Sad Eyes" hit number one in 1979, and it's reported that he died on Monday, according to his son, Michael Pedrick. By the way, that is Robert John's real name, Robert John Pedrick. You just ditch the last name if it isn't the coolest sounding last name, which Pedrick is a little wonky sounding. So you take your first name and your middle name. I was David J at one point on the radio, which see, that's what you do. Um, so he had a stroke a few years ago, and apparently he was still recovering from that stroke from a few years ago. Now I know people are gonna go down certain roads. I am trying to be more harmless. He was 79, which is kind of the life expectancy, right? Um, Best known for Sad Eyes, but also a lot of people forget that he did a killer version of The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Like, note for note, impeccable. Like, he was the Tokens back in 1972. He hit number three with his version. So you can't call him a one hit wonder, although I'm sure like many videos have been made about how he was a one hit wonder. His song has the unique distinction, Sad Eyes does, of taking 20 weeks to get to number one, which, by the way, was preceded by Hot Child in the City by Nick Gilder, which I think took 19 weeks to hit number one. And what's remarkable about Sad Eyes is it got to number one by kicking out My Sharona by the Knack, which, again, the Knack at the time, they were heralded by various snobby music publications, which still exist today. They were said to be the new Beatles. Now, how did that work out for the Knack? Huh? Did they make it to the Beatles status? No. Anyway, this song was a great song, an amazing, emotional, and probably listener-driven song as far as getting to number one. Those were the days when the listeners did have a say in what was going on. Um, he also did a nice version of Hey There, Lonely Girl. Again, that remake makes sense. He also did a version of Sherry. He also did a version of Bread and Butter. So he was really using his falsetto to full effect. He had only performed a little bit over the past few decades. He lived in Las Vegas with his family. Rest in peace, Robert John. Great singer. Um, the other gentleman who passed away is Chris Jasper. Who's Chris Jasper? Well, he was an Isley brother and a pretty darn good one at that. It says here he died on Sunday at the age of 73 following a cancer diagnosis in December. So that apparently was a fairly aggressive cancer. Jasper's family put the news out there on Facebook. Here's a guy who attended the Juilliard School of Music in New York. So he was pretty smart, right? Pretty sharp. And he was in what's called the Jazzman Trio with Marvin and Ernie Isley. And then they officially merged with the Isley Brothers, transforming the group from a vocal trio into a self-contained R&B six-piece band. And then, of course, They had a ton of success. 3 Plus 3, which came out in 1973, went top 10 and also sold over 1 million copies. Remember when albums used to do that? That's called platinum. Then a string of top 10 albums after that, including the chart topping The Heat Is On. The Isleys were a pretty big deal for a number of years. And yes, they are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Thank goodness, right? So Jasper performed on all of these albums as a multi-instrumentalist and getting songwriting credits all over the place, including on the top 5 hit, which has been redone, remixed, sampled, and plagiarized, the song Fight the Power, which is an anthem, which, of course, I don't want to get into it with the politics, but it's a world upside down now. Fighting the power is considered bad. So Jasper left the Isley Brothers 1984. Then he came out with an album which I believe went to #1 on the R&B chart, Caravan of Love. Either that or it's just the song. I think it's just the song went to #1. His solo debut, which is called Superbad, also spawned an R&B hit in its title track. And yes, again, it says here Jasper was inducted into the Hall of Fame with the Isley Brothers in 1992. He also got a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 2014. His music has been sampled by the likes of Whitney Houston, Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Justin Bieber, and, get ready for this, Kendrick Lamar, of all people. So what did Chris Jasper have to do with the Super Bowl? Not much, except that he inspired Kendrick Lamar, a music legend, born in Cincinnati, Ohio. So he lost 2 real good ones there, Robert John and Chris Jasper. If you're not familiar with either one of those artists, you should probably check them out. The Isley Brothers are just legendary, and I don't hear anything by the Isley Brothers on the radio. I don't, and I don't know what format would they go on. You know, you can't play them on classic rock, which you should. And Sad Eyes, I guess, is on the radio still here and there on your good adult contemporary stations, as it should be. It's just a great song, but I think really the Isley Brothers need more attention than probably the Robert John song. Anyway, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families and the fans and everybody who just loves this music. I don't know if you guys need prayer unless you're really devoted to this and this is just heartbreaking to you, but it's just sad. You know, we're documenting the end of an era, and classic rock like this, pop music like this, R&B like this isn't really being made anymore. Especially the R&B, just not out there. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back soon. So stay tuned for more exciting videos here. Hopefully I won't have any more people who have gone on to the other side to talk about today. 2 is enough.